Check, check. Darren.
1, 2. Testing.
All right.
1, 2.
Coming back here, guys. We might pop on camera. Let's see if this thing works. You ready? Oh, hey.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
What's going on?
Hair's looking good, man.
Thanks. Thanks, Tom.
How's my hair looking?
Amazing, man. Good as always.
Thank you so much. Welcome, guys. We have a few minutes left until we get the 200K guarantee final table going back at Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club, which smashed the guarantee. We're talking $386,000 prize pool for a 365 buy-in. I'm Tom Wheaton. This is Darren Elias. We hear there's a major echo. There must be two audio channels with the camera and the mics, but we'll be off camera in a minute.
Yeah, we'll kill the mic or
So,
kill the camera.
It's good to see everybody, and enjoy the rest of the stream. How about now, guys? Do you hear an echo? There it was. Hey, I figured it out, man. How about that? Dude, hair game is strong.
Thanks, Tom.
How's your golf game, though? How's your golf game going?
Golf's not too great, you know. If you only get out there about once a month, and tough to make any improvement just playing once a month, you know. So I go out there, I shoot about 95 or 100, and it's just what it is, you know.
I imagine with all that barbecue and the meat you're eating, it's really hard for you to get a full rotation.
You think the brisket's getting their backswing?
It's got to be really hard to get that full rotation through.
I don't think it's barbecue related.
You're gonna try to kick my ass halfway through the rest of the stream. But guys, we thank you for watching. We hope you're having a great time. There has been a ton of poker knowledge dropped by Darren Elias here, 4-time World Poker Tour champion, pretty much every record in the books with WPT. Here with us in Daytona Beach at the Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club. And I'll tell you what, man, Florida poker, you can't stop it. Whether it's Central Florida, North Florida, South Florida, I would put Florida poker ahead of pretty much any state in terms of the amount of tournaments that you see right now.
Yeah,
happening.
and as I was saying earlier, especially since COVID and rebounding from COVID, getting these big fields back in casinos, Florida's been on the forefront of that and leading the charge definitely with live poker in the state so far. Awesome.
We are here via live stream because of Eric Anderson and the feature table business that he created, a mobile live streaming service that will literally come to your poker room, set up shop with an RFID table, all the cameras, all the lighting, all the software, all the hardware, you name it. So shout out to Eric Anderson and his great feature table business, helping local card rooms give their local players some press and publicity and exposure. So
it's great to get these local players some time on the live stream, let their fans and family watch. I think that's amazing. Good moment here for these guys as they're four-handed, playing for a lot of money, and probably some of these guys, their biggest 68,000 might be their biggest score and their biggest moment in tournament poker here.
Unger 47, we do see your question. We will get right to it. First, we're going to turn up the table volume so you can hear some of the players and some of the action in addition to us. Ash does raise does raise with King Jack from the button, and Steve behind him does shove the remainder of his stack, 3.2 million.
King Jack suited here facing the shove, and Ash can afford it. He can afford calling 2.5 here with 10 million. So
understandable shove from Steve with 100, 200K blinds.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked to see to Ash put in the call here and run out, because as you see, we're only 46-54 with King Jack suited. You're in good shape against a lot of hands facing this big blind shove range where the guy has ace-X hand like that or any pair you're flipping against. So as you see, he does call here, and he's going to be in fine shape against ace-9.
How much does the suited part of the King Jack make a difference here for you?
Quite a bit, maybe like 5-10%. I mean, I would still call with King Jack off suit. King Jack off still plays about as well, but
we do see an ace on the flop.
Steve just buries this flop, and
can we get a 10 of diamonds turn? We can't.
Ash is dead in the water here on the turn.
I think that was Aaron with the joke. Looks like Steve does double up, so he's up to 6.8 mil, and you'll see just how quickly many of these stacks do change. And here's the stacks if you haven't seen them yet. There are 4 remaining. Aaron in the lead, 48 bigs. Tyler, 43. Ash, 35, and Steve, 33. We will tell you in chat that Tyler has a huge fan base. If you're in chat rooting for Tyler, give us a shout. I played with both Tyler and Aaron yesterday, both very solid players. Not surprised at all they're at this final table. All right, Darren, Unger 47 asks, can you give your thoughts on the Jack 10 diamonds versus Ace 7 diamonds at the main event final table.
I wish I could. I did not watch a lot of the main event final table, so I didn't see that hand. I can't comment on that one.
Unger, if you want to, in chat, give us a little rundown of some of the action. We'll definitely comment on it. And here you see Ash, very next hand, under the gun, which really is the cutoff since we're four-handed, has pocket aces. He does raise $650K into Aaron with the queen nine of clubs, and he's thinking about it. He's thinking
Tom,
about something.
as a part-time recreational poker player, do you feel like in Ash's spots here, you just lost a big pot and then they deal you pocket aces? Do you get a little worried? Do you ever think like I just lost a big pot? I'm going out here with aces on the next one. Do you believe in momentum?
So first of all, STFU, all right, and as a part-time recreational player, no, I am not worried.
I know that is something that people sometimes feel momentum based. Oh, I just lost a big pot. Now I have aces. Trouble. But it looks like Ash will avoid trouble here on King 3-2.
I also love how you said part-time recreational player and not part-time professional player. I also know that was a little bit of a
You're
deal
not even
too.
a full-time You're a part-time rec.
Darren only says that because he's coached me for 2 hours and was like, oh, man, we got some work to do, bro.
Let's see here. 550, and these guys got none of it. So
Yeah, here we come, two folds, and move on to the next one. Chat, let's hear what you call aces. What are some of your nicknames for aces? Paul says Johnny Rockets. I don't know if that's a nickname for aces, but we'll talk. I think it is. It's also a restaurant.
Also a cheeseburger establishment.
Very big
near my
beef
hotel.
burgers.
Yeah.
Great shakes.
Yeah.
I know you love those chocolate.
Boy, Johnny Rockets cheeseburgers. They have good burgers.
Oh, man, V-Blasty. He's just full support.
We're seeing some Team Spear support in the chat too here for Aaron Spear.
We want to thank you guys for tuning in, both on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. No matter where you're at, we're going to see your messages in chat.
Aaron getting busy with the 9-10-0 in the cut, but will face a 3-bet here from the small blind almost certainly, with Tower waking up here with two queens. Pocket Rockets, that's all the chat's got here for us.
I mean, come on, guys. We got to hear some more of that. Oh, so he just, enough is enough. He's just going to go ahead and jam, forget like a little 2-3 X re-raise. He's just putting it in the middle. Let's see if Aaron actually has something, and he does not.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. Oh, hey. Woo.
We got some fans.
Oh, man. Come on, Darren. You got to be quicker on those sound effects, bro.
I mean, we had the real thing. Who needs a sound effect? We had some there's some Tyler fans in person here.
And that's the cool thing about this, guys. Now that Daytona is doing these live stream final tables, if any of you make the final table, invite your friends up. I mean, shoot, if I would have FT'd this thing, you would have saw some of my friends from Orlando come up.
Absolutely.
It would have been fun to get roasted by you in the commentary booth. But, I mean, that's great for the Central Florida market, guys. So if you're thinking about playing a tournament, there's always that extra benefit of possibly making the final table, being live streamed, getting your friends out here for a good time.
Yep, and I see B-Side Breaks asking when the next live cash game is. How do you sign up? I'm not sure when the next live stream big cash game with me will be. I know we had people reaching out to play that game as well. We had a full 10, 25, 50 and a must-move game going. So it was a big night here at Daytona, and I'm sure we'd like to do those again in the future. We do not know when the next one will be, though.
Big hands are just going around. Ash now has kings in the small blind, and Steve did raise with ace-10 under the gun.
We'll see if Ash brings anything tricky here, or if he will, what kind of 3-bet sizing he's going to come with. 2.2. So 800 to 2.2 here. Looks like Steve chose a bigger size here on the open to 800K, and now it's 1.4 more to him. Ace-10 off, a great hand four-handed, facing a 3-bet with these depths, getting a little dicey, so he's got a real decision here.
And it's so hard. I mean, 3-betting, especially out of the small blind, is much more common today than it was a couple years, so it's so hard for Steve to put him on an actual hand. I haven't seen Ash 3-bet too much from the small blind as of yet, so hopefully Steve is taking that into account.
Yeah, we saw him make a light 3-bet early on the button with Queen 9 offsuit, so he certainly is capable. But as the stacks get shallower, actually we did see him 3-bet out of the big blind with Queen 8 offsuit too.
Oh, was that the big
7,
blind?
8 offsuit.
Okay.
He's in the small blind here. I think this ace-10 is going to end up folding or calling. I don't think he's going to shove here. But ace-10 offsuit, again, you only have ace-10, so the flop is going to be difficult to play. There's even on an ace-high board, you can be crushed. You can be up against ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack, so you're kind of hoping for what, the 10 high board or the flop is straight. Both these things very unlikely. And even on the 10 high board here, he would be losing the rest of his money here to 2 kings. So really comes down to how often your opponent is 3-betting out of the small blind, what kind of range they're choosing. But this is a close one here for Steve. There you see the little ear pull pacifying behavior here. We're looking at live tells where he's uncomfortable, wants to. You'll see people grab the back of their neck or ear or somewhere up here, kind of looking to pacify themselves.
So don't do those things.
Well,
if you can even help it.
If you can help it.
A lot of times you just don't notice
Do
you're
not
doing
do
it.
those things.
Oh, man.
He's going to let it go.
He's thinking about it, but he is going to let it go.
And good fold there, Steve.
Good fold, Steve.
Ace-jack probably doesn't. That's probably the best hand he folds there. I don't think he folds ace-jack.
Is there a world or a percentage where you have kings in the small blind that you don't 3-bet?
Probably not in that scenario. I don't think. Usually you don't want to trap with kings or queens just because you're vulnerable to the ace, and the ace will flop a good percentage of the time. So you don't want to trap with kings and queens. More likely would be aces would be the trap there.
And as you see, guys, we are 150, 300 blinds right now, and I think the chip leader does only have 30 bigs. So things could get very interesting over the next 2 levels.
And we're seeing some big hands here. Guys making good folds, but we are seeing some big pre-flop showdowns. Queen 3 suited here.
Ash is putting out raising chips.
He's getting rid of all his small chips here with the open, looks like.
He did do that a lot yesterday. What do you think about the old use the small chips as a tell a weakness adage?
I don't know if I'm in.
I don't know about that either.
For that one.
I don't think so.
I was a fan of hearing the story at the World Series this summer when a player refused to make change at his table.
Oh, I did read that.
I don't make change. As has happened to me once in my history in Montreal. Once I asked a guy for change. I don't make change. Everybody knows this.
Well, you obviously didn't.
I was an idiot for asking.
Jeez, Darren, the nerve, bro.
Kept my mouth shut.
Got to study your players in Canada more.
Yeah. Thought they were nice up there.
You ever have, when you were up there, did you have poutine?
Yeah, I had poutine, Tom. A lot of poutine. So Aaron calls a small blind here, and he's going to 3-bet. 3-bet ace-7 offsuit here.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know why? It's because he put out those small chips to tell.
Read into the weakness. Queen 3 suited though. Ash may not be going anywhere here versus this smallish 3-bet. Yeah, he's calling.
How much meat did you put on that poutine?
A lot. They actually had a Philly cheesesteak poutine up there that was delightful.
God.
I think he limped. Yeah, he limped the button. We've got about a 4x raise and a defend of the limp. This flop not doing great for Ash though, with Queen 3 of hearts. So a small bet here should take it from Aaron. That looks like 2 million.
Ash does let it go. I have a feeling we're going to see Ash and Aaron clash a lot over the next 2 levels.
Yeah, these are guys who both like to play pots. I'm not sure. We haven't really seen any big post-flop bluffs like multi-street, flop, turn, river type plays, but we have seen them very eager to get in, play pre-flop, play a lot of hands, a lot of c-bet, that kind of strategy, which is pretty common in tournaments.
Chat, if you play at Daytona Beach or Orange City Racing and Car Clubs, what is your favorite night to play and why? Or what is your favorite tournament to play and why? Let us know. We'll give it a shout out. Aaron does raise with 9-7 suited on the button.
Steve with ace-10 suited in the small blind, less than 20 blinds. Looking at his chips, this could certainly go in the middle if he wanted to.
It's going in the middle. Steve does shove ace-10 clubs. Tyler's out. Aaron is going to be out too.
And this is pretty common what you're going to see in tournaments when you get around to these 20, 15, 20 big blind stacks, especially short-handed where you're facing late position opens. These guys are opening such wide ranges that in response to those opens, you're shoving a wider range as well. So you're going to see a lot of these raise and then shove, raise, shove, take it type situations, which is very common in tournament poker.
100%. And we're just going to go ahead and reconnect to stop the buffering you guys just saw. So that'll pop up here in a minute. So what's on your agenda, man, the next few months? What you're going to be doing in terms of poker tournaments or cash games or et cetera?
A lot of time down here in Florida. We're wrapping up this week, and we'll be back in about a week for the events in South Florida.
WPT events, absolutely.
WPT events in Tampa as well in September. And I think we might have something in the Northeast going on with BetMGM maybe in September, October. We'll see. And probably to Vegas for the WPT events out there in November, December.
And speaking of BetMGM, we'll get into that after this ham because I want to talk to you about your new brand ambassadorship with BetMGM Poker. Steve Zhang with Queen Jack suited on the button does call Aaron's raise of 10-9 offsuit.
Yeah, and I like this call here on the button, not 3-betting, just taking a flop in position with the Queen Jack suited. You're not putting your whole stack at risk. And you can see here was in a good shape against Aaron, although that changed on the flop and he's now a 4-1 dog. Looks like 500K there, I believe. Million.
Aaron just continues to put on the pressure whether he has it or doesn't. Obviously here he does have top pair, 9 kicker. And Steve's got to be asking himself, man, I've got Queen Jack of spades. I loved it before the flop.
How did I miss this
son
flop
of a
so
bee,
hard?
how do I miss this flop? Come on.
Steve just kind of lamenting his situation here. A little face scratch. I think he's going in the mouth.
We have all felt that way at times.
Such a pretty hand.
So getting back to BetMGM Poker, your brand ambassadorship, obviously late last year you became the brand ambassador for BetMGM Poker, which is an online poker company. It's actually a partnership between the company Entain and MGM. And they have online poker operations in New Jersey, where you live, in Pennsylvania, in Ontario, and in Michigan. How's that going for you, man? I mean, this was kind of a match made in heaven from my standpoint, with you as one of the world's absolute best poker tournament players. BetMGM with one of the absolute best and credible online poker operators that's also going to be introducing some live aspects. How is that going for you so far?
Oh, it's been amazing. And helping them build the online product as well as now building out these live events at some of the MGM properties, which we have some of the best in the country in Nevada and all up and down the East Coast with Borgata, MGM National Harbor. We have Springfield down in Biloxi. Here we have Beau Rivage. But building back online poker in the United States is something that's really important to me as an American who came up playing online poker. And after Black Friday, we've had over a decade of very limited options for online poker and having to play illegal sites or loopholes and things like that. So it's very important to me to see poker in the United States come back and be legal and be regulated and to be able to play in more states and hopefully in a connected market where now we do have poker in those states, but we are still playing with just our state. So they are small markets for now, but we're looking to build.
Absolutely. Steve just did jam with Ace King and get it through. Not necessarily what he wanted, but it did happen. Yeah, I mean, as regulated online poker grows in the States, unfortunately, we don't have it here in Florida. Hopefully one day soon. With all the regulated operators out there, I mean, BetMGM, it doesn't get more credible than that. It's
amazing.
It's a company that's 50% owned by the land-based MGM casinos with phenomenal software from Entain. And I can tell you that the BetMGM poker team, they want to finish first. They want to own the market share in their states. They want to deliver the absolute best player experience they can across their states. They want to give their online players these unique experiences live at MGM properties. So I think it's just a phenomenal brand ambassadorship for you. I think it's a phenomenal company overall, and I look forward to seeing what you and BetMGM Poker do over the next couple of years, man.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, we actually ran our first live event this summer at the Aria. I believe you were there for the 3,500 BetMGM Summer Classic.
Absolutely.
Success. We sent some players there from our online markets, and they got put up in the Aria, got a nice player experience, free roll, and then able to play the tournament. So hopefully a nice week in Vegas for our qualifiers as Aaron faces the button open with King Jack off in the small blind. And does cover Ash on the button. So see if he comes with 3-bet here or call. Looks like he's cutting out a 3-bet.
I would be surprised if we do not see a 3-bet, and then I would be surprised if
Ash is not
does
folding.
not jam. I think he's going to jam in this spot based on my play with him yesterday. He was
Okay.
very aggressive when it came to shoves and reshoves, not so aggressive when it came to calling off. So I think Ash, based on my experience with him yesterday, is going to jam here.
Would you like to bet a cold beer on that?
A cold beer.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to bet a warm beer.
Okay. Oh, Steve actually with a real hand in the big blind as well. Would this? Wow. Tough decision here. Where, if I'm in Steve's shoes, I'm looking at this cold 4-bet jam, and picking up $3 million in the middle as a pretty good option.
Are you really?
Because King Queen suited, massive hand in this. You always think about the situation. So this is button, small blind, big blind. I'm not sure if Steve is going to go for it here, but definitely an option. I don't think you want to be calling here very often, but
It's fold or shove.
yeah, and
at this point.
I think no shame in folding here, and have to think about too what the other stack is. I'm not sure ICM wise how many chips the other player has. If the other player is short, then perhaps folding is the prevalent.
And this is
strategy.
absolutely going to affect Ash and his decision. I mean, depending upon if he folds or not.
I don't think Ash is ever going to fold, but I do think he's going to call here. I think Steve's going to fold and then Ash is going to call. We'll see.
Okay, I say jam, you say call.
Yeah, we'll see.
If I'm a betting man, I bet on your opinion more than mine.
We'll see. I mean, you played with Ash all day yesterday.
I think because Steve took so long, if Ash is thinking, maybe he's thinking, you don't think that long without possibly having an ace, right?
He snap called, by the way, and we're seeing 3.
Okay, I'm wrong. You're right. This is why you're you, and this is why I'm me.
Well, there's just a big difference, and we're talking about aggression and shoving pre-flop earlier in the tournament, and then four-handed with all the money on the line. Is he really going to reshove the ace-10? King, queen, 7.
Oh,
so
God, Steve is
Steve
kicking
is
himself.
tortured here with the king, queen of
Just
diamonds in
tortured.
the muck. We'll see how Aaron proceeds. $5 million in the pot here, so Ash playing exactly the pot.
And Aaron has been hitting flops the last few hands, hasn't he?
Yeah. 2.5. So he bets about half the pot here.
If Ash were to shove, do you think Aaron calls?
100%.
Okay.
Ash.
Just because he's pot committed at that point. He's not raising,
Yeah, and
looking to fold.
in these spots, you look at stack to pot ratio. So how much is in the pot and how much does the shortest stack in the hand have? Where Ash only had $5 million and there's $5 million in the middle. You're not going to put in $2.5 million and fold for the other 2.5.
Right.
So he's definitely going to call here. Ash with the decision, I think versus a smaller bet, he would be continuing. This 2.5 bet is literally half his stack. So this is a tough conundrum here for Ash.
How much does it please you that you were right and I was wrong?
Quite a bit. Another Stella, please.
Don't get used to it. Yeah, we do need another beverage.
I don't think Ash is going to continue here, but he's an appealing prospect here with the gut shot. Ace of Hearts would be better than the 10 of Hearts. He does have backdoor hearts, but it's going to be the rest of the money here is going to go in on the turn, so he has to know that. There you hear Ash's pulse beating.
That was Ash's pulse?
Yeah.
I thought it was yours.
Riveting action here four-handed at the Daytona Beach Racing.
The wings we had at lunch,
Uh-huh.
a little bit slower. Oh, God. I mean, you had like 15. I had 6.
We had 6 wings.
You were sucking that wing sauce off your thumbs like you were a 1-year-old kid.
Ash in the muck there. Aaron will win this pot and take a commanding chip lead, $13 million. Get at us in the chat here. We'll see who you guys are rooting for. I'm not seeing much going on here.
We want to thank everybody who's viewing in chat. We're down to the top 4. Aaron in the lead with 41 bigs. He came in as a chip leader. Tyler has clawed his way up to second place, 27 bigs. Steve, 20. And after that hand, Ash is down to, what'd that say, 15 or so bigs?
Yeah, about 15 big blinds. And I think Ash did well there to lose only the 3-bet. He opened. He had ace-10, a big hand on the button. Could have shoved pre-flop, as you said. I'm not sure if that would have got through or not. Probably, I would guess Aaron would have folded, but he did choose to just call, and He's going to rip in the ace-6 here the next hand and get through unless Tyler wakes up here, which he does not. The dirty diaper here in the big blind.
The dirty diaper. So obviously, dirty diaper from last year's World Series. I can't remember the guy's name from Pittsburgh.
Rigby, I think.
Rigby,
is
the old 3-2.
Rigby
If you guys are
from
wondering
Pittsburgh.
what dirty diaper means,
Yeah.
let's talk about this year's World Series.
Sure.
We were talking about player pace and speed of play before, right?
Mhm.
Final table, heads up. Literally a $4 million swing between first and second place.
Yeah.
One of the players goes in the tank for 16, 18 minutes. As a professional, what is your opinion?
Well, that's a unique situation because it is heads-up play. So if you think about it, that would never happen at a full ring game. Someone would clock him. Probably between 5 and 10 minutes, he's going to get clocked. But as the other guy in the hand, a lot of times people are worried about giving away information where, oh, if I clock him here, it might look weak. It might look like I want him to do something. I don't really believe in that too much, but it is always rare that the villain in the hand clocks the other guy. Usually it's someone else at the table. It's usually not the other person in the hand. So when you're playing heads up, that's the only option. So is the other guy going to clock you? I don't know. And playing for that much money, I think I would be reluctant to clock the guy too.
Yeah.
19 minutes, a little much. I would guess around 10. I'd probably clock him.
There were so many guesses about what was going through his head. There were so many people saying, "Oh, what was he thinking about? It was this or that." Did anybody just think maybe the guy is stoned and just spaced out for 18 minutes?
I mean,
come on, you never know.
I'd hope heads up playing for $4 million. He's not stoned out of his mind, just looking at the lights. But
it could happen.
I think you could be the only guy who thinks that. But an option. More likely, he was counting combos and trying to figure out what was going on in the ranges. But maybe the edibles were just kicking in.
You never know, man. Stranger
Ash.
things have happened. Ash with ace king of hearts.
And a sneaky little limp there in the small blind. He threw down and. Rash has some people play better, baked out of their minds. Yes, I can. I'm aware of that, and definitely online too. I think more of a common theme online back in the day. A lot of that going on.
I couldn't do it.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough. Especially playing a lot of tables. Playing a lot of tables, stoned out of your mind is no joke. Ash setting the deep trap here, but as you see, these guys are not. They're not really unloading big bluffs post flop. So I don't think trapping is going to be too profitable at this table the way things are going. I think you want to play pretty straightforward and push your advantages pre-flop because haven't really seen anyone unload a big bluff.
And there you go. You see the chip counts. Aaron still in the lead, 38 big blinds. Oh, hey, we got some talk. We got some laughter at the table. I mean, no big deal. They're just playing for $70K up top.
Yep. There we see Tyler from Port Orange, Florida.
We have fourth place finisher. We'll have 23,522. Third place, 31,129. Second place, 42,416. And first place gets $68,445 with a 500 GAPT seat to the next tournament. Here we have Ash that raises to $650K with King 10, and Aaron with the King 9 suited does decide to lay it down. To the big blind we go with Steve. Ace 4 does make the jam for his last 6 mil.
And this is a real jam here with Ace 4-0, big blind versus dealer, where as the big blind with these offsuit aces, you really don't get to realize your equity a lot when you call, where you're going to lose to a flop c-bet a high percentage of the time when you don't flop an ace. But you often do have the best hand pre-flop, so you will see these shoves with 15, 20 big blinds with these kind of crappy-looking offsuit aces, but is one of the better plays. We've got inside intel here in the chat. Aaron running on 4 hours sleep, not stoned. I did not suspect Aaron to be stoned.
No, 100% didn't expect that. No way.
We did see him fold the King 9 of hearts there in the small blind, which was noteworthy if I were to be watching this stream and looking at opponents where, especially with the chip lead, we could look to get involved there. Here he opens Jack 8 off on the button, facing Tyler in the big blind with King Queen, and how is he going to proceed with 28 big blinds? All in. Interesting.
Oh, he does jam.
It's one way to do it. I think we could call as well, but it's going to get the job done. And these guys definitely not afraid to get it in the middle pre-flop. We're seeing it's not a ton of post-flop.
No,
If we've got ace or two face guards, ram and jam. Let's play for it all.
No, I mean, I love it. I mean, it's actually much different than the last final table here at Daytona when I was here commentating with Jamie. The last final table was very slow play, a lot of limping, a lot of folks a little scared to get the money in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing here is we're seeing the experience of Aaron and Ash and Tyler coming through with no fear. They just know how to play these spots, most likely a lot because of they're used to the cash game action here, so they're not changing too much in terms of tournament action.
Some would say fast and furious action down here in Daytona. We drove past the speedway here, coming in here.
You are on it today with the puns and the analogies. Like, Nick Schulman better watch out, bro.
No, I mean, I've been on the receiving end of all these puns for over a decade, so it's good to hand them back out.
I mean, look, when Darren and I were doing our planning for the commentary, it was very simple. It was like, I'm going to try and do my best Jeff Platt. You do your best Nick Schulman, and if we come up a little, like, whatever.
Face palm in the chat. I got to be doing a good job. Only got open here with Jack 10. Small blind calls in. Another ace here in the middle. We'll have a decision back to Tyler. I don't think this is going to get called, though. Tyler here in his bio sheet talking about his shooting even par, and he kind of looks like a guy who would shoot even par on the golf course. He looks like a golfer.
What does a guy who shoots even par on the golf course look like, Darren?
He's got a little TPC pullover with a golf guy on it, a hat. He's probably got a good short game.
Is that your read?
Yeah.
He's got a good short stack game. He's got a good short golf game.
Just looks like a golf guy.
Got it. How about me? Do I look like a golf guy?
No.
You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
No. Although we're yet to play golf, so I'll have to see first.
Oh, it just embarrass you, bro. It's going to be the battle of the mid-90s.
Who's worse?
Scores, yeah.
Who's worse? Steve here with ace 10 off in the cutoff. 23 big blinds, 22 and a half.
Beachside Break says Tyler's putting is unmatched. All right.
Confirmed.
Darren's reads are on, man. I mean, you did have the player profile sheet. Unfair advantage. Steve here with ace 10 under the gun. What's he thinking about right now, man?
Open or shove. I think he's considering, do I just go all in or do I open? And he chose all in. Interesting, do we get the king 10 off in there if we open? A hand we dominate? Something to think about. We certainly get the ace king off for all of it. So.
And there it is. Aaron does call with ace king. Steve does open jam with ace 10, and he hates life right now. But he is 3 10s away. And it is not looking good here with an 8-3 king flop.
That's what 2% looks like. And Steve is going to be our 4th place finisher, earning $23,522.
Good game, Steve. Way to hang in there, man. Congrats on turning 365 or however many bullets you had into $23,522. And probably no surprise to us, the 3 people we talked about at the beginning of the stream, in terms of Ash, Aaron, and Tyler being 3 of the more experienced people here, are now the top 3 players here in the tournament.
Yeah, and Aaron came in with the chip lead, still holding the chip lead here, 3-handed, and now we'll really see a bit of an ICM dynamic where we've got real pay jumps, 30,000, 42,000, 68,000. Ash being the short stack, Tyler's kind of stuck in the middle here, and if Aaron can pick up on that, we'll be able to exert some pressure on the player in second place, who may be looking to outlast Ash. Aaron with a 17 million now here, which is about half the chips in play.
Talk to us about this type of feeling, right? Obviously, these guys aren't necessarily playing the type of buy-ins you have. They're not playing 10Ks, 25Ks, whatever. But when you're at a final table and you're in the top 3, tell us about that feeling of what's going on in your mind and emotionally.
I just try to stay in the moment and just be present and take it decision by decision, hand by hand, because you can't get too ahead of yourself, and things can change so quickly. I mean, as we see here and in every tournament, you can be 1 of 3, and then the next thing you know, you're out there in third, and you can't be thinking ahead about what's going to happen later. Can't think about winning the tournament when there's still 3 people left. Really just have to stay in the moment and what hand do I have? What is the situation? What is my position? The chip counts, the big blinds. That's really all I'm thinking about. And staying present, I would say, is very important.
I feel like that's such good advice for every single stage of the tournament, too. I mean, I know when I transitioned from cash games to tournaments in 2017, I'd be in these big fields, inexperienced, and there was so much I was thinking about that was out of my control instead of just focusing on the moment, the players at my table. Like, you don't have to beat 2,000 people. You have to play against the players at your table and not worry about the rest. I think that's such great advice for anyone who is getting into tournament poker or even has been playing it and has a little trouble staying present in the moment and focusing on what you can control.
And having a short memory, too, and I think it's important not to use reference points where, say you were chip leading, had a huge stack, and you lose 80% of your stack. A lot of newer players or amateur players, even some pros think, oh, I need to get back to where I was. I just lost all these chips. I had 20 million, now I have 2. I need to get back to 20, where you really can't think like that. All you can do is think, I have 2 million. What is the best play? Like, you can't think about what could have been or what you used to have. And really, what you see is in that scenario where a guy goes from 20 to 2, plays a lot different than the guy who just doubled from 1 to 2. So really staying cool-headed and having an even-keeled mindset is super important.
Beachside Breaks, Darren does have 4 World Poker Tour titles. He is the leader of World Poker Tour title championships, final tables, and cashes. So obviously you've been in these moments a lot more than most others, right? So I would say, like, this advice that you're giving out to folks, definitely take to heart. Darren has seen it all and done it all in the poker world.
4-5 suited, Ash limps in here in the small blind. Aaron checks, and Ash with the check raise here. 4-5 suited on 9-A7. Interesting hand here, where because it went limp and then check, fairly unlikely either player has an ace. So who's more likely to have an ace in this scenario? Likely Ash, who could have been trapping in the small blind. We did see him limp the ace-king, and will have some limp traps in the small blind, where Aaron in the big blind closing the action probably has a few less aces at this depth, where he would just put him in pre-flop with most aces. So Ash may be able to get this bluff through if he continues on the turn. So while he's a bit in no man's land here with 4-5 suited, I would like to see him continue with this bluff if he is going to try it on the flop. And he gives it up. So he's now you're going to have a hard time telling a credible story that you have a big hand when you check on the turn here. And I think Aaron's going to check back, pot control, and I don't think he's going to fold this river if he faces a bet, just because the story's not really adding up here if Ash is to say he has a big ace. And just kind of a one street bluff there from Ash. It's not going to pan out.
How often are you thinking about the story, right? So before you make any action on a flop when you're heads up or three-handed, how often are you thinking about the story you're telling and what you're going to be doing on later streets?
Fairly often. I'm often thinking, too, about my opponent's ranges, what they got to the flop with or turn with, like what position did they call from, with what stack, what type of player they are. Those are things that are running through my head. And fairly often, I'd say, especially on the turn, I'm thinking what kind of story I'm telling, what kind of hands I'm representing, what I'll do on certain different rivers. And definitely something that it always pays to think ahead in poker, where you can't just be caught in the moment where maybe Ash says, oh, I'm going to raise right here and take it on the flop, but has to think about the picture as a whole.
Aaron does shove with King 7 here into Tyler's 10-9 and gets it through. And I think it was a great point you made on Friday when you did a what Daytona called the well, God, I don't remember what they called it right now.
Poker boot camp.
Poker boot camp, there it was. But it was a poker session where you played one of the most interesting cash game hands that you've played in your life, and then you broke that hand down into so many different dynamics for all the attendees. And I think one of the points you made at the end was, like, you know, when the river bet was made, you weren't just thinking about in the moment about why that river bet was made and what that bet was and what it meant compared to your chip stack. And you went all the way back to the beginning of the hand. and you replayed the story in your mind to make what was the correct decision.
Very important. Even when you get to the river, it's good to make a habit of thinking about what happened pre-flop, what happened on the flop, what happened on the turn, and try to put together all those pieces to range your opponent and try to put them on a hand and win the most money you can. Ash down to 15 blinds here, playing 150, 300K, so with 4.5 million. Aaron right now with a stranglehold on this tournament, 20 million chips. That being said, I have lost tournaments in with far bigger chip leads three-handed, so anything can happen in tournament poker.
100%. I think that takes so much intentionality from players to be thinking through an entire hand when it gets to the river, or be thinking 2 steps ahead when they're trying to make a flop bet. I think without intentionality of doing that every single time, you don't develop the habit.
Yep.
And if you don't develop the habit, you're never going to improve your game in those areas. So you have to be intentional about it. You have to keep it top of mind. And when you feel yourself not thinking through the latter stages of a hand before you make a decision, catch yourself, and doesn't mean you can't do it on the next hand that you play.
Yeah, something, as we see a shove here with Queen Jack suited, which we'll get through. Something a lot of players, even pros, struggle with, getting in these moments, especially deep in tournaments and big spots with the shot clock, and you're facing this big river action where you don't want to get blinders and just be thinking about the river. Is he bluffing or is he not? You need to really go back through all the streets and piece together what happened.
Shout out to AKD1187, Adriana, Aaron's #poker wife. I see that Aaron's brother is also in chat, or maybe even in the audience. We have seen the fan club for Tyler. And Tyler does look down at King, Queen in the small blind. He does elect to jam, 7.1 million. This will obviously get through.
And as you can see, the nature of three-handed play, if you're not winning pots, you're losing. You're losing a lot of chips from the big blinds and the antes, as we see Ash go from 25 blinds to 12 in virtually 4 hands. Just because of the price of poker and the big blinds hitting you so often, where you really need to be winning hands or you're getting blinded out, especially here where blinds are so high. Let's see how Tyler handles this ace-3 suited. Like I was saying, Tyler in such a dangerous position because the chip lead, and he's in the middle with ICM, where if Aaron wanted to apply a lot of pressure out of the big blind, Tyler would be in trouble here.
He just does open a 750K versus jam, and you're right, it's $31,000 for third place.
Yeah.
$12,000 difference, 42,000, 416 for second, and just about 70K.
While calling here is the natural play, I'd love to see a 3-bet out of Aaron in the big blind.
Would you really?
Or a shove. Very, very good ICM pressure here. Basically what I was talking about. You got Ash sitting there with 12 big blinds. Tyler's really got to be careful on the button open. Most of his opens are going to face this kind of heat, and there's not much you can do. But how can you fold the ace-3 suited on the button? It's the dangers of tournament poker.
How many of I meant to ask this earlier when we were talking about tournament strategy, because you were talking about keeping your composure even when you go from big stack to small stack, which is so psychologically tough for so many people. I think people have a misconception sometimes that if you're in a poker tournament, you're going to be continually increasing your stack, and it's going to be this smooth sail to the end. But even when you're winning championships, it isn't always like that. No. I mean, it is a roller coaster. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. It isn't just this easy, smooth ride to the top. So how do you suggest people like embrace that roller coaster and stay psychologically kind of even keel?
It takes a certain type of person, I think, to be able to handle the swings of tournament poker. And I always think it's funny when you hear these stories from the main event, guys like Greg Merson or Korai who bagged like 12K after day one of the main event, when you start with 50 or 60,000 and they bag a fifth of a starting stack, and then 8 days later come back and win the tournament. Just shows you that anything can happen, and even when things aren't going well, and this is the toughest part, is to play your best when things aren't going well and you're really struggling.
Beachside breaks, we see your comment.
It's fun bingo poker?
That's a great answer to how you keep your composure even keel.
Beach.
Aaron does jam King Queen. 23 mil, Ashraf, ace 10. So here we go. Ashraf to stay alive. He is ahead, ace 10. Where's king, queen? Who will win this 60-40?
Yeah, let's see if we're going heads up here or Aaron here picking up some more outs with the jack. 35%. 8. And a quick run out here in Daytona.
What will it be on the river? 6.
And Ash will double. And I think brings him up to about even with Tyler. So this is a dream spot to be the chip leader, Aaron, when your opponents have kind of a similar stack. There we see the chat. Jorstad, the guy who won the main event this year, only bagged 17K day one, which is a great example of just having the fortitude to hang in there and play tough, even though you're short and things aren't going your way, is an undervalued quality to have, I'd say.
Still something I'm 100% working on. Speaking about working on, Daytona Beach is working on bringing you guys some great player experience moments with their brand new streaming table, which they just invested in. They are refreshing the poker room, new layouts, cosmetic changes. Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club is one of the, I would say, best poker rooms in Central Florida, along with its sister property, Orange City Racing and Card Club. You don't need to be traveling to North Florida or South Florida to play your poker on the weekends or during the week. Stay here in Central Florida, Daytona Beach and Orange City Racing and Card Club. They're investing in the player experience. They're investing in tournaments. And I think what you'll see after this, the largest GAPT event ever with 1,287 players in a 386 prize pool, I think you're going to see more of the same. I think you're going to see a couple larger buy-ins, which will result in probably similar players and larger prize pools. They are doing all they can to bring you the best player experience possible here at Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club. As we adjust a little bit of our display so it isn't buffering, it will come back here in a second. So Darren, you just finished up the World Series of Poker, right? I'm sure many of these players here in Central Florida were also out at the World Series of Poker. How long were you out there for? How were your results, man?
I made three separate trips, about 2 weeks each, coming home to see the family. I have 2 young children, so I can't be out there the whole time, obviously. And basically break even for the series. So I was out there about 6 weeks and had one 4th place finish in a $3,000 Six Max event, and nothing else really of note. Played a lot of bigger events, so pretty close to break even in the end. But love the new venue out there. Thought it was great to have the series back on the Strip, kind of in the action. Get out of the godforsaken Rio. Hate that place. So happy to see the new venue. I thought it went well, went smooth, and yeah, ready to go at it again next year.
And you did have a really deep run. I think, was it the 3K Six Max where you finished 3rd?
4th place.
4th place?
Nice needle there, Tom. 4th place.
If I was going to needle you, I'd needle you about the recent WPT final table, but we're not going to talk about that. That's the past. That's in the past, right?
Past the past.
But
Ash all in here with the queen.
Thank you, guys. Oh, man, another beverage run. Eric Anderson, the feature table. Not only is he bringing a phenomenal service to card rooms across the country, but he's bringing Darren and I beverages.
Hey, thank you, Eric.
Man, Eric is the man.
How was your series, Tom?
I final tabled the small buy-ins and lost all the big buy-ins.
It's a recipe for success right there, huh?
Yeah, that's how you do it, man. I am the epitome for how to be a part-time recreational poker player out in the World Series of Poker, Darren. No, I love it. I normally go out there for about 10 days. I don't go out there for the whole thing. Didn't play the main event this year because of some family events going on in New York, but I probably played like 6 tournaments, maybe 7.
Okay.
And a series of unfortunate events, but also some punts and a lot of key learnings. But also love it. Wouldn't change anything about it. Absolutely love going out there.
Yep.
I have so much respect for you and many of your peers that stay out there for the amount of time that you stay out there and play. I mean, after 10 days, I was beat.
Yep.
And that was after cashing a couple and making a final table. I still felt beat, just exhausted, like I need a couple days off. So for you to be out there and your peers to be out there doing this 100% professionally, I mean, it's just as psychological.
It's a marathon. It's
It
really
is.
a grind out there.
And I do want to bring up your recent Twitter post about
Oh,
the
boy.
subject.
If I like to get roasted.
Yeah, you know, kind of like 6 players have already been roasted here at the final table. You were pretty roasted on
Completely.
Twitter when you were talking about less World Series of poker is more, apparently, or shortening the series after the main event. Now, I know there was much deeper context to that.
Of course.
But I just thought it was so funny because I rarely see you get roasted on social media. So when it happened, it actually brought a smile to my face because I knew how much pain you were in. But why don't you talk about that tweet for everybody? Because I think it's cool if you get it out there and talk about what you actually meant and some context behind that tweet.
Oh, I just saw towards the end of the last week or so of the World Series that people were at each other's throats. I'd never seen so many floor calls, just people yelling at each other and kind of like, I don't want to say mental health, but people were just kind of grumpy after being there for so long. And I've always thought the series, if condensed, would get even bigger prize pools. If it were over a shorter period, more people would go and play. And selfishly, I'd like to be able to play more events. So part of it is selfish, of course, and the people told me that.
Oh, they told you, all right.
But I'm always open-minded, and the people on Twitter, I wasn't thinking as much about the guy who only plays 1 or 2 events,
Right.
And has a job or has weddings and stuff in the summer. So, I mean, their opinion matters. So I concede, I wave the white flag that more World Series is better. I was selfish. And certainly got a kick out of reading those Twitter comments.
Oh, it's hilarious. But, I mean, the point is valid, though. I mean, if you're out there playing and you're playing a very long schedule, it's going to take its toll, right? So it might not be the length of the actual series, which, again, I think is great for Rex, because if you can't make it one week, make it another. If you can't make it at the beginning, make it at the end.
Yep.
But just the pure volume of events and how they're always back-to-back without breaks, it's tough because it does take a toll. And I was there. When I was there almost 3/4 of the way through it, as you see Tyler jam with Ace Jack, small blind, which is going to get through, I started seeing it. Friends of mine were like, I'm beat, I need some time off, or like my head just isn't right. And I don't know what the solution is. I think the context makes a lot of sense. I think it is something folks have to consider. The challenge is this, right? Let's say WPT or WSOP says, you know what? We're going to pause for like 7 days in the middle of our series. Poker players out there are still going to play poker. They're just going to go to other venues. So they're not really getting that mental break at all.
While valid, I think my point is moot just because the demand is there and there's no way Caesars is going to say, oh, we'd like less money.
No.
We're going to run less events. We would not like to earn more money. So my point, I'm just really, it doesn't make too much sense that it's never going to happen in reality. But if anything, they're going to make it longer.
Right.
So I'm just complaining before the World Series is 5 months long and there's 360 events and people are.
Well, it was so funny. Like, you know, we'll move on from this because Aaron raises to 1.2 million with 8-6. Ash actually has a decision here with King 9 suited in a small blind, who could effectively shove here.
Looks like it went limp 3x call, and we are seeing the flop here. Ash flopping the second nut flush draw and a gut shot. Aaron with a lot of nothing here. We'll see how he. I
think we'll see a lead out from Aaron. And he does lead.
Not sure if we'll call that a lead in position, Tom.
Oh, no, Ash checked. Sorry. Oh, you see this? I see this little box up here on the left that actually gives you the rundown of the action. I missed that.
Ash will take that pot with the check raise, though, and that's a pretty big pot.
I'll tell you what, like, massive shout out to some of the best commentators in the game at their craft, because even doing this a few times, I miss stuff, and I'm like, how the heck did I miss that? It just takes a lot of time, even to get used to the display, to read what's going on.
Absolutely.
I don't know how folks like Jamie and Jeff and Nick and Lon and Norm, and no disrespect for anybody I'm leaving off that list, who just come at it so naturally and can pick things up so quick and read the action so quick. So
shout out to the takeover, Nick Schulman, best in the game. I think love listening to him commentate on Super High Roller Bowl main event, that kind of thing. It's top of his craft.
But this is fun. You got a couple noobs over here in the commentary booth here at Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club, but obviously enjoying it. Hope that we're doing a good job for you guys, chat, being somewhat entertaining and also informative. We're down to our final three here at the Daytona Beach GAPT 200K, which wound up being almost a 400K. 1,287 players, $386,000 prize pool, 68K up top, 31,000 for whoever finishes third place.
Aaron going to open the Jack 8 suited here on the button. 400K big blind here now, so Aaron chip leader with just 40 blinds. So really something's got to happen here. Tyler with 10 big blinds in the small blind, queen 10 offsuit. Bit of a decision. This is a cuspy one, as our friend Nick Schulman would say. Let's it go.
Shout out to Nick.
Ash 3-6 suit in the big blind. Note that Aaron shows 2.5x sizing. Ash still probably going to call here with a 3-6 suited. But certainly defending a narrower range than if you were facing a min open.
Flop comes king, queen, 8. A whole lot of nothing for nobody, and we're likely going to see a check, which we do. Amazing. Actually following the action.
How about that?
How about that? Check bet 1.2, see a fold. Let's go on to the next one. Blinds are at 200, 400 with an ante of 400. Next place does pay $31,000. Congrats to the final three. Aaron Spear leading the way.
An interesting spot there in the small blind for Tyler with queen 10. You think about that spot. You're facing the chip leader open on the button, which is going to be extremely wide. You're the short stack. You're facing no ICM pressure. And you've got possibly the best hand in the small blind there with queen 10. So I think a case could be made on continuing somewhere or the other. Maybe a call, maybe a shove. Certainly a close one there with queen 10 off.
You know, when you're at, what does he have, 10 blinds?
Exactly 10.
Like, is there really a world where you call a min open?
Sure.
From a small blind or big blind?
I
Well,
think,
not big blind, from a small blind?
yeah, I think as you get to that 10, 15, and then even shorter, there are some kind of funky scenarios where you will flat. And oftentimes, the first hands you'll flat are kind of those Broadway cards or those suited Broadway cards where, especially as it gets to a point where you have no fold equity pre-flop, where you might want to take a flop against a range you dominate. If he's opening a lot of lower cards or you got the Jack X suited, Queen 9 offsuit type hands, taking a flop with a hand like Queen Jack suited or Queen 10 could be a pretty good spot.
Stay patient with those short stacks.
Yep.
Still a lot of game to be played. Ash does fold queen 7 on the button. Aaron is likely going to go ahead and just put Tyler in with his queen 3 because of the big blind factor.
Chat, we are on a 15-minute delay. See our Casper coming in hot with the spoilers. We'd appreciate none of that.
That's right, chat. If you're in the audience, remember, this is a 15-minute delay. So heads up, nobody sees what you're seeing.
He's the guy that runs in the movie theater and goes, he dies at the end.
Oh, man.
Aaron would open ace-3 off on the button here, we would think.
That's right, Ratch, Taza, we're just too quick. We react too fast. Darn right.
Yeah, we are watching on the delay, so we I don't know if I'm getting trolled or not.
Troll us. Troll us all you want.
Shout out Redlands University in the house, Octomolly, my alma mater.
Oh, are you
San
kidding me?
Bernardino, California, yep.
What is that, like a...
It's a small liberal arts school.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What's your major in?
I came out with began as a physics and math focus. I wanted to work for NASA and ended up with a creative writing degree.
How does one go from a physics major to a creative writing degree major?
Poker, Tom. Poker.
Who did you have write your pieces? Did you write them yourself? I mean, you're a creative dude.
I did my own writing. I have
Yeah.
about half a novel somewhere sitting in a.
You're
sitting
actually
on
a
it
very
right
good writer. The first few emails we traded and whatnot regarding Above the Felt, like I was like, wow, he actually put together some coherent sentences, which I'm not used to from poker players.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. I've been told I'm smarter than I look.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Also, these weed answers very on.
Oh, my
point. How does
God.
one go from
Beachside
that?
Breaks. Why do I feel like Beachside Breaks is just sitting on a condo on the beach
He
with
said he owns a dispensary.
a pipe? Oh, really? He does? Well, that makes sense then.
Ashley raises Queen Jack off on the button. And going to take it. Tyler getting near desperation stack here with, I think, 7 big blinds in the small blind. So something's got to happen pretty quickly for Tyler here.
On the button, what's your range here with 7 big blinds? Like, is it just any 10 high hand? Or what are you doing? Just getting it in?
Not any 10-9 hand, but I think 10-9, 10-9 you could probably shove, and
Probably
some
the
suited, 10-8 suited, maybe 10-7 suited, 10-6 suited probably starts being a fold. I would say somewhere 10-5, 10-6 suited.
Okay.
Offsuit, obviously any ace. Kings, you probably king 8 somewhere in there. King 8, king 7, you're probably shoving. King 6 probably goes in the muck with 7 big blinds.
What's the least amount of big blinds you have come back from to make an actual meaningful deep run?
That's a tough one here. I would say 4 maybe. 3 or 4. I remember PCA Bahamas, one of the side events where I was very short and came back to get 4th or 5th in a big field tournament. And it always feels a little better where you earned it, you grinded for so long, short, and then end up making a deep run. It's always nice.
The reason I asked you is because Tyler came back from 6 big blinds. So when Tyler came to the table yesterday, he had over $1 million in front of him. Average stack at that time was about 600K. And he told us all that he was literally down to 6 big blinds. So there you go, folks. Even if you got 6 big blinds, don't give up. You can find yourself at the final table.
Yeah, now he's got 7, and he's got 31K locked up. Things are looking up for Tyler. Ash here with ace-8. And kind of a similar spot to, wow, Ash says, I will not be bullied by the chip leader. I'm all in. That's one way to avoid facing the 3-bet from Aaron.
Tyler hates looking down at 9-4, but he's got to just give it up.
Now in the 5 big blind range.
So here we go. Let's see what Tyler does here. I believe he's on the button, right?
Small blind, I think. Five big blinds, 2.2. I believe Harrington would call this the danger zone with his stack.
Harrington, oh my God.
Harrington on Hold'em if
I
you're familiar with that one.
remember reading that book. You have an M of 8.
This is a low M right now.
This is a very low M. Oh my God, I read that book cover to cover, man.
It didn't do anything for you. Aaron coming in with the queen 8 suited.
I'm too slow for a comeback because that was so good. God almighty.
Ash will defend another. Ooh. Interesting. So he defends the 6-3 suited, but not fond of the 9-4 suited. We did see him tank with the 6-3 suited earlier. Something pretty common among rec players is sometimes they do have some favorite hands that they gravitate to, that they like. I'm sure you guys have a certain hand you like to play in your home game or a certain magic hand.
NXT Falcon, no, I was referencing the starting stack yesterday when there were about 50 people left, and Tyler and I were playing at the same table, not the final table.
Hey, Kitty, gonna start calling Aaron Top Gun. Danger zone.
Tyler does jam Jack 7 on the button, does get the call only from Ash, and Aaron is in the big blind with the mystery hand, thinking.
Looking at his chips, thinking. Any guesses, Tom?
Any guesses? Nope, I got nothing. Okay, now I've got something. I'm going to guess like a
King Queen.
King 10.
I'm going King
You
Queen.
King Queen? I was thinking King 10 suited.
Let's see here. Check.
I'm going to say King 10 suited. Darren's got King Queen for the mystery hand of Aaron. Let's see if we find out. But as it stands, Tyler is all in against 2 players with his Jack 7. He's up against Ace 5 and a mystery hand.
And we will see here with 2 players with the covering stack if it does get checked down.
Which Mr. Eric Anderson from the feature table was talking about earlier off camera. We have a 10-3-6 board with 2 diamonds. No help for Tyler. We'll see what Ash does. Action is actually on Ash. There's some table talk at the table. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit more.
Did they agree to check it down? Is that
Yeah, if they did talk about checking it
You're
down,
not allowed
you can't
to.
really do that here.
You can't do that anywhere.
Yeah, you just, I'm glad Tyler spoke up for himself, to be honest.
One of those scenarios where it's kind of unspoken, where frequently, if neither player has something, you won't bluff a guy out of a dry side pod here. Guessing he has a 10 here? Aaron?
We have 2. We do have Jack 7 verse. Was it the King 10? Show me the King 10. We do not know what Aaron had yet. We will hopefully soon. Maybe Mr. Eric Anderson will let us know.
The 3-7 suited. Interesting. So he kind of took a
Oh,
shot. He took
wow,
a shot
7-3
pre-flop.
at the 3. Well, we were way off, bro.
Yeah, he took a shot pre-flop, getting a good price to eliminate a player, and that's a big pot there. That's $5 million, so he's going to have a pretty good chip lead going into heads-up play here, 3-1.
Good game, Tyler. 23,522 for your effort. We are down to Aaron and Ash. Aaron does have a 3-1 chip lead.
And well played there from Tyler. Kind of card dead down the stretch there, shorthanded.
And you do hear them talking about that hand there. Here's the thing, guys. Who you don't see in the camera is Byron Rodriguez, who's not going to let any of that mess happen. Byron is the tournament manager here at Daytona Beach and Orange City Card Club. He has done phenomenal things here for both poker rooms in terms of the tournament action, and it will be the driving force as to why there are bigger and better tournaments in the future.
Poker Prodigy, are you going to PCA in January, Darren? Yes, I believe I will be down there at Baja Mar playing the events down there.
What when you go down there, what types of buy-in events do you play?
Usually a full schedule of all the no limit events. I'm not a big mixed game guy, so you'll see me in the 25K no limit, 100K no limit, 10K, 5K, anything kind of in that range. I'm in there.
Do they have any like 1,100, 2,500, 3,500 events for guys like me?
Those are usually there. Those are available, and the main event of those things is always great value, whether it be 5K or somewhere around 10K. Those are always some of the better spots. Looks like this went limp, 4X, shove for 20.
Ash called 200K, Aaron raised 1.6.
Yep.
Ash shoves for 8.3 mil.
So Aaron in a close one here. Tempting always in this spot when you have the covering stack heads up to just end the tournament. King 10 off here. He put in 1.6, so a bit of a math problem.
Well, he's probably asking himself, what is Ash just calling with and then jamming with over the top, right?
But we did see him limp the ace-king suited, so he does have some limp. He's got some trap in him.
We did.
You will see some pocket pairs here, which you're flipping against. And hands like this, ace-x, where I think if Ash turned over his hand, Aaron would call due to the math. He's going to call. Okay.
All right, we got a
So
call.
for it.
It is ace-7 of Ash, king 10 of Aaron.
We'll see what happens here.
This is for the win for Aaron. Let's go.
My money on Ash here, just because we didn't hear from our spoiler that the tournament's over.
4-2-6, queen high board, ace-7 still ahead. 6 outs for Aaron. Any king, any 10. Little interesting now, where if Ash does pair his ace, it does give Aaron the victory.
Open-ended.
And it is the queen of diamonds on the river, so Ash does double up. Big blind's a lot more even, and that's the name of the game for heads up. It can change that quick.
Yeah, and that's those guys found the real strategy there for heads up with those hands. I think that's a pretty realistic play from both of them.
Aaron still does have 60% of the chips in play. Heads up in major tournaments, obviously, for you is something you're very experienced in. I mean, in addition to your 4 WPT championships, I know you've been heads up in an absolute variety of other online and other tour company championships. I know in those situations, again, everything is dependent.
Yep.
Right? Typically, how many hands are you really raising with, or should you really be raising with in a heads-up game from the button? Like, is it 80% of the hands, 70% of the hands, assuming all things are equal?
Well, with raising, probably not that many, just because as stacks get shallower, you don't want to be raising and the guy shoving over you with 20 blinds and you having to fold. So with stacks like this, when you see high-level players play, you'll see a ton of limp
because of these stacks, because of the big number of big blinds.
Yeah, at 100 big blinds deep, I think you'd see a lot more raising, maybe like 70, 80% button raise, something like that. But at these depths, 20 blinds, you're going to see a ton of limping. Pretty much anything under 30, 40 big blinds, there's going to be a lot of limping on the button. And with big blind ante, where there's 400K ante in the middle, probably 100% VPIP on the button is correct. You shouldn't really be folding a lot of buttons.
Never would have thought 100%.
Yep. But with a lot of limp.
Thank you, AKD. We did just buffer, so should all be good right now. NXT Falcon, out of curiosity, anyone know how late day 2 went? It did go till 12:30 in the morning, 12:30, 1 o'clock. That was shorter than I thought. I thought it would go to about 2 o'clock, 2:30.
Yeah, pretty early by poker players' standards. believe they said they played till like 6 a.m. or something. The main event, the day before the final table.
Yep.
World Series main event, they played till 6 or 7 a.m. or something. Something obscene. And another mystery hand here by Ash.
Ash checks. Aaron does make it 1.2 with ace-4 on a 3-5-3 board. Doesn't look like Ash is going anywhere. The action was Aaron raising to 1.2. Ash did call 800K. Ash did check. Aaron did bet 1.2. Ash does call.
And a tough card to continue bluffing on here is Aaron, where I think he's going to want to check back this one. Where if your opponent had a 3, he's got you beat. And this is a
Ash does move all in for 14 mil.
Wow.
Do we have a situation where they both have an ace?
No. Ash does not have an ace. And
Why?
A situation where Ash found the right play in the lead, I think the sizing is just a little off here, where shoving 14 million into 5, even if Aaron has a 3 here,
right,
he has a tough decision, and he's certainly not calling with anything else. This is, I'd be curious to see Ash's hand here. You kind of suspect he has a 5 out of what I've seen so far.
You have to suspect that. I mean, or maybe just like 6s or 7s. But then again, the jam, you're only getting called by a better hand, so it's hard to.
Yeah, a shove with
to say
6s or
that.
7s here doesn't really
Doesn't make
accomplish
sense,
too much
right?
because
you're
of
getting called by a 5 or a
the
3.
cards on board. So this is an interesting one, and I'm pretty sure Aaron will end up finding a fold.
All right, so chat, what do you think? What's the mystery hand?
Oh, will we get to see it?
Queen
Ooh,
9
he
of
gets it
clubs.
through with
Whoa!
Queen 9 of clubs.
He's got more heart than I got, man. I'll tell you what.
And
I've got some heart, but that took a lot of heart.
And I do like the lead. Just the size, I think I would choose a smaller size there. Just because you never really want to be getting just snapped off or over the pot dead, which can happen quite a bit there by a 3 or a 5 in that spot. So.
And again, guys, Darren is commentating like he doesn't know the other person's hole card, so he's 100% right. Smaller bet is better there, period.
Yeah, even with that hand, and a good idea in leading. In general, it's good to lead cards that your opponent will check back, cards your opponent does not like there. So the 3, 3, 5, and then the 5 pairs. That's something your opponent's probably going to check back. That might be a cue to start leading, but just with a smaller size there.
You guys don't know, but we are joined by Jim Jenkins, the Director of Marketing here at Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club, plus Orange City Racing and Card Club. He's just hanging out in the back, having a good time. He's doing a little dance, getting jiggy with it over there. Big shout out to Jim and his entire team. A lot of the new investments the Poker Room is making to owning their own live stream table, refreshing the Poker Room with new layouts and cosmetic changes, putting together these promotional weekends in partnership with Above the Felt and even the feature table. These are all coming from his team. And, you know, they are bullish on the fact that Daytona and Orange City are the absolute best poker rooms in Central Florida, and you do not need to leave this market to play poker. And if you're looking for a great place to play poker out of this market, it's a great drive-to market as well. Here you see...
Limp on the button here from Aaron
Yep.
with another mystery hand. These guys seem to be missing the RFID boxes.
Or just blame the faded spade cards. Maybe one's broken. Who knows?
Yeah, these cards are awful. I don't know who makes these. Ash raises to 6x and re-raise all in. The limp raise from Aaron for 13 million.
Let's play the mystery hand game, everybody.
Pocket 7s.
Quick fold.
So this is a heavyweight bout right here. The haymakers are being thrown in the heads-up match. All-ins even at 40 big blinds, and this is dead even.
This
now.
is entertaining. I mean, it's entertaining to watch. It's entertaining to commentate.
An even heat here, heads up now. And these guys aren't afraid to get the chips in the middle.
NXT Falcon, nice. I missed the final table by 7 hours then. You and me both, bro. Or ma'am, or whatever.
Yep. Ash with a limp on the button here, 8-6 off. Aaron will check.
Charles May says, like to see an Omaha tournament. Interesting. I will say, well, let's let Darren go through this hand, and I'll talk a little bit about Omaha.
Ash going to stab with 8-6, and Aaron with a nice little continue with Jack-4 off here, Jack of clubs, and that's a good turn for his hand. Backdoor Jack high flush draw now, and 4 diamonds for the gutter. He will think he has to bluff here on the river, but he'll be bluffing with the best hand. So it's likely what
Always a really good predicament, man.
bluffing with the best
Gotta
hand.
love it. I mean, these are the spots you play for.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna bet 1.5 million here and take it, I believe.
There it is. Omaha, Charles Mays, Omaha tournament. Who knows? We'll see. I do know that the Omaha cash game action is absolutely insane at sister property Orange City Racing and Card Club. I know they also have some great Omaha games here in Daytona. There were, God, I think there was a 5-5.
Yeah, here they played 5, 10, 20.
And it was a 5, 10, 20, yeah, here this week at Daytona.
20 with a 40 straddle. I think a lot of Omaha action down here. And
I would have jumped in there if I liked lighting money on fire.
oh, they'd have loved
But
that.
I'm just not good at Omaha. I'm still trying to learn no limit hold'em according to Darren.
Tom looking to inject a little money into the Daytona economy.
I'm just here for the people, man.
Playing some PLO.
I mean, they helped me so much 10 years ago, but now I don't know.
Got to give back.
Yeah, so Omaha, big cash game action at Orange City here in Daytona, and who knows, maybe you will see a tournament. I'm sure that's up to Byron Rodriguez, who I think has plans over the next few months. You'll see more tournaments just like this that I'm sure will smash the guaranteed prize pool. And who knows, maybe this time next year you see some bigger series. Maybe there's a series of events with smaller buy-ins, larger buy-ins that run for, who knows, 10 to 14 days. But keep your eyes peeled to Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club and Orange City Racing and Card Club social media for information on what's coming up.
Yeah, I will say the demand is definitely here. Played poker in South Florida, North Florida, but first time here in Central Florida playing, and I've been impressed so far with everything going on.
King 6 for Ash on the button does raise to $1 million.
And Ace 9 looks like he's going to just call here.
I like the just call.
Okay.
Do you?
I think you could go either way. Certainly plays all right as a call. If you 3-bet, we are playing for all the money. You could put in a non-3-bet, non-all-in sizing, but you are not going to fold once we put in the 3-bet. Ace 9 off a pretty good hand heads up, so I would probably lean towards 3-betting more. But Aaron seems to like to play post-flop and is going to call here.
And we have not seen Ash slow down
Well,
typically post-flop. He's been putting on pressure most of the time.
I think he puts on a lot of pressure on the flops, but we haven't really seen him unload a big one, with the exception of that Queen 9 suited.
And we are fixing the buffering. I'm sure we'll get back just in time to see the end of this hand, which we are.
I'll turn up the audio a little bit for you here.
Oh, they're asking for audio. There you go. Got it, guys. I'll turn up the table audio, too, in case you were talking about that.
And Ash is going to put one in here, so good call, Tom. He's going to bluff the turn, and this is going to be tough for Aaron to continue with no spade in his hand.
I'm just glad I got the first compliment of the live stream from you.
Well, you finally got one right. Heads up, 3 hours in, and nailed it.
I wish I took a video of you eating the wings earlier when you were just sucking the sauce off your wings like a 2-year-old baby.
Mm-hmm.
Just put that on social
Shame
media.
me for eating wings.
Shame you. We want to thank you guys for joining us in chat. Hopefully it's been entertaining and informative. My name is Tom Wheaton of Faded Spade and Above the Felt Entertainment. I'm here with Darren Elias, the GOAT, one of the best poker tournament players or poker players in the world. And hope you guys are enjoying a lot of his analysis as I am. I find myself listening to what he's saying, getting lost up in the advice, and then forgetting where I was in commentary. So appreciate you being here, Darren. Appreciate you extending some of that knowledge you have, and I hope that everyone is enjoying the experience.
Hey, no problem. Happy to be here. And Aaron coming with a 3x open, King 5 off. And Ash probably going to drop the hammer with Ace 10. Ace 10. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 3-bet. All in. There's that. So,
And you were right.
hey, how about
But
that?
you've been right a lot, so I can't compliment you on that.
Again, seeing a bit of the downside of the 3x open, where Aaron loses 1.2 million there. He's playing 14 million, almost 10% of his stack on the open, where a limp or a min open probably a
Same thing is going
play
to
there.
happen. And you do that 5 times, that adds up.
Absolutely.
In chat, I see a message from Old Man Gaming Now. Thanks for the coverage. Daytona is a great room. Hit 1,500 on a table. Game. And final table to 155 last week. Congratulations on hitting that 1,500. We did talk about table games earlier. Some new rules in 2022 means that you no longer have to beat the dealer button on bonus bets. So Old Man Gaming wondering if that was a bonus bet or just a non-bonus hit, but congratulations.
Either way, a good weekend at the tables.
NXT Falcon, oh wait, I was at a few tables with Tom yesterday.
Okay, there you go. Ash going to open for the minimum here on the button, and Aaron looks like he's sizing out a 3-bet to going upstairs. 2.5 million, somewhere in that ballpark. 2.3 million, he says. Bad beat on the Deuce and Joker wild table game. So looks like some game of the on the other side of the card room over there. I'm not familiar with that one, but congratulations. And Ash facing the 3-bet with 7-5 off. Ooh, he's gonna see the flop.
Oh,
Okay.
baby, here we go.
Actually has live cards here, only 36%. So that's a fighting chance here, and we'll see if he can find a low flop. I will say Aaron has been using bigger bet sizings in these spots, so if he does miss this flop, I think either way we've been seeing big bets, so it could work in Ash's favor on a flop like this, which just smashes him.
And before, like Aaron was smashing pretty much every flop, now you're seeing the table turn a little bit. Ash does have top pair with a gutter ball.
Yeah, and this big 3 million chip bet is not going to get Ash's all in here, and this big swing pot here, 9 million in the middle already.
So Aaron does bet 3 million and is assuming that Ash does go all in. He does snap fold from Aaron, and there you go, bet sizing. Right?
Bet sizing, yeah. As stacks get shallower and we're only playing 20, 30 big blinds deep, you don't see a lot of big bets post-flop where average bet size is probably 25, 30% in theory. So these big bets represent huge portions of your stack, and oftentimes leverage-wise you can do the same for less. So kind of seeing that in action there as Ash takes a commanding lead now, about 4-1.
NXT Falcon, I hope it was an enjoyable experience playing together. I know there were some tables that were very lively, others that were not so much, but had a blast playing in this tournament. And I also see the comment from V Blasty, Tom, if you final table this event, who would commentate? That would be Nikki Diaz. And shout out to Nikki. She is just an absolute joy to have gotten to know this trip. Apparently we go way back in the Central Florida poker game sphere in the downtown games before these poker rooms were open. So shout out to Nikki. The deal was at 5 final tables, she was going to commentate with you, and she's full of personality and fun. So shout out to Nikki. It looks like everything is set. Don't worry, guys. We do not see the need to buffer, and we are here
Aaron
in a situation.
All the chips are in the middle here. 9-10 suited, raise calls against ace-3, and we're playing for all the marbles.
So we are turning up the volume, guys. You can hear the final table.
We'll hear this run out here. Ash does cover with the ace-3 of diamonds, so Aaron needs to hit a 9 or a 10 or this tournament is over. 4 straight. There we go.
5 jack, 6 queen.
14 outs once here, 32%. And he misses it. Ash will win this tournament.
Congratulations, Ash. You have just won $68,445 plus a $500 GAPTC. Shout out to Aaron, who played dominant all day. $42,416. That is the end of the Daytona Beach Racing and Car Club 200K guaranteed tournament, which turned into almost a 400K tournament, Darren. $386,100 prize pool. The buy-ins get a little bit bigger. The prize pools get a little bit bigger. The action is here to stay at Daytona Beach Racing and Car Club in Orange City. Darren, why don't you give us some final thoughts on the final table and your time here in Daytona Beach?
Yeah, great time down here at Daytona. I was thrilled to come down and see what you guys had going on. A lot of potential. Love the card room here at Daytona Beach Racing Card Club. I think Aaron and Ash both should be happy with their play, and great final table overall. And hope to be back here soon. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on the live stream.
No doubt, guys. This is Tom Wheaton signing off for Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club. We will hope to see you down here for the cash games, for the tournaments. Be sure to keep your eye on Daytona Beach Racing and Card Clubs and Orange City Racing and Card Club social media. I'm sure there's a lot more tournaments, a lot more cash game play to come.